Presented by AfterBuzz TV and hosted by Hall of Fame superstar Sean X-Pac Waltman, this is X-Pac 12360. And now your host, WWE Hall of Fame superstar Sean X-Pac Waltman.
Hey guys, welcome to X-Pac 12360. I know what you're thinking. Where is Sean X-Pac Waltman? Well, I'm here, Denise Salcedo, but I'm super excited because coming with me right now, live from the WWE PC, is none other than Sean X-Pac Waltman and Road Dogg.
Oh,
Hey
you
guys.
didn't know?
How are you guys
That
doing?
was great. What a great opening.
Yeah, Denise is my all-star.
We can't follow that.
Yeah, hey Denise,
Yes.
missed you big time last week.
Thank
Just
you.
wanted to say that right off the bat.
Thank you.
You're not gonna ask any questions like, for instance, hey Road Dogg, what's your favorite match in your career? What's your favorite
No,
color?
I got some tough questions prepared for today, actually.
Oh, good. Good, because last week I felt like we just talked to each other the whole time.
Well, we did.
I was told that that's kind of what this is all about, but it sure felt weird.
It kind of does if you like.
Like climbing the rope at gym class.
Because Brian, it's kind of like, well, why would people care about us just sitting there shooting the shit?
Just two old jackasses
They
talking.
do.
Yeah, that's weird.
do. It's
Well, you're
crazy.
weird. You people listening
Yeah.
are weird.
And
Well,
people loved the show last week. I mean, even though it was, technically like we had a little issue on our end with the
Well, I mean,
audio,
one of you is producing the show in California, and the other
Yeah.
one is doing the show in Florida. So
yeah,
it's-
but like, it was still. I mean, it was brilliant. It was brilliant stuff on our part, Brian.
Well, some people were actually saying, Sean, that they thought this was one of our best shows, regardless of whatever little quirks there was going on. A lot of people very liked the show because they liked the back and forth between you guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, Denise.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on in wrestling?
Well, there's a lot going on in wrestling, but, I guess right now, if you want to go ahead and we can start off a little, maybe, how about this? There
Hey,
is
you're
so
steering
much.
the ship this week, Denise.
I know. So how about this? There is tons going on.
She said, I know,
No,
so
just
shut up.
shut up.
I'm trying.
Well,
Shut
you
up,
know
honey.
what?
I'm trying to drive.
I'm just going to get into it. There's lots going on in the world of wrestling, and I think that you guys would be the great ones to go ahead and sort of give us an input with everything going on right now. So much business, so much talent out there. I want to know, from when you guys started to right now, what are you guys thinking of what you're seeing with the landscape of pro wrestling and how everything is evolving right now? I know that's a very broad question, but maybe we can go ahead and kind of kick it off there.
Yeah, I don't think it's broad at all, especially from where we're sitting at the Performance Center. Like, we are in the midst of the evolution, whether our old bitter asses like it or not.
Yeah.
We've actually spent a lot of time in the past 2 weeks talking about that evolution, and it's not only in the business. I think what we've talked mostly about is not the business aspect of it, but it is a great time to be a professional wrestler or sports entertainer, and it's also a great time to be a fan.
The best time ever, maybe,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it just might be. That's for real.
Wow.
But what we've talked about down here a lot is the evolution in the work rate itself, and the evolution of the old guys saying slow down, and the young guys kind of working at a quicker, faster pace. And it's really, I'm torn, and we've talked a lot about that, Sean, but I'm torn inside my head because I want to be that bitter guy that says, hey, stay off my lawn, slow down with your hip tosses and no selling of super kicks. But like, I do think that's where we're at.
Yeah.
So get back on the porch, old man, and enjoy the show. You know what I mean?
To a certain degree.
Yeah.
And it's, Brian, it's easier to be that way when you can point to one of their matches and go, you know why that didn't work?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to when the people are going crazy the whole damn match.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you can't really go, hey, that didn't work for you.
Yeah, no, it didn't work for you, old man.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it's an evolution in the industry all the way, through across the board. So great time to be a wrestler, great time to be a fan.
Well, last week you guys mentioned that you guys talked a little bit about having a wrestler, not just being a wrestler, but also being a content creator. And Road Dogg, you also talked about a lot of the television production and, going through entrances. And Sean, you even mentioned that was something that, maybe you didn't have and now the guys have. But now I want to know, with NXT sort of always topping itself each and every single show, a lot of people can argue, can it get better than what it is right now? Because it's absolutely incredible. So now, given that, I want to know, what is your vision moving forward with NXT?
Well, yeah, the question is, can you top yourself? And I think that's the age-old question. That's I firmly believe that the only competition NXT has is themselves being a better NXT than they were yesterday. And so far, what I've seen over the past 5 years is they have done that consistently. So whether we believe as viewers or we believe on the inside that it can be done, I think they'll prove that it can be done when it's TakeOver 26. The talent down here seems to challenge themselves and kind of challenge each other in a competitive team kind of spirit, where you have to step up. You have to say, you follow that, mother trucker, and the next guy out follows it. You know what I mean? So it's the high tide rises all ships, and I believe these guys down here got so much talent. And man, it's not just the guys on TV right now. There's guys in the bullpen that got a ton of talent too. So will they continue to top themselves at NXT? You damn right they will.
So now, the Attitude Era had some of the most talented roster ever. But now, do you think that the current WWE roster may actually be more talented, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I actually think they're much more talented as far as, especially as far as the work rate and the athleticism and the just how fast they go and how long they can go. That sounded dirty. I didn't mean it that way at all.
Not talking about me.
No, I wasn't. It was a race and I won. No, so look, I believe they were. If you go back and watch the Attitude Era, to be quite honest with you, it was a friggin' mess. Like, it was I can't even go back. Like, I'll watch our matches, but like when every now and then I will. But there would be a match going on, and all of a sudden 2 other guys would fight out on the stage, and then they would fight down and fight the guy on commentary, and then it was just like, what's going on here? It was very hard to delineate the storylines and the story progression. So I think it was kind of a mess, but for the time it was really cool and it was must see. And so I don't know. I just think there was some good characters back in the day. Today, I think the industry, that evolution that you talked about, is kind of going more towards a there's still characters with more of a sporting direction and a competitive direction, and there's no way in hell the New Age Outlaws we're gonna be in that conversation.
We were a bunch of pirates, you know, and just over the top. Some of the over the top characters that were in wrestling, were over the top for not good reasons. So it's kind of like it's a good trade. I'm fine with the trade-off. Right?
Yeah,
maybe
for sure.
We don't have as many colorful characters, but we don't have as many people dying.
Yeah, and when you talk about pirates, it just means we drank a lot of rum.
All that. Yeah.
So now, speaking of the Attitude Era, I want to know, for you, Road Dogg, who was your favorite opponent, or how was it different working between Sean and Billy Gunn? Tag team opponent.
So that's she got better.
Opponent.
She caught herself.
Yeah,
she caught herself, and she asked a solid question. How was it between working with you and Billy? There's already, you don't have too many more people to go through, so you got to keep some of these people on your show, Sean. So I've told this story, and you've heard it several times this week already. But I was tag team partners with Billy Gunn, probably. And champion probably 5 or 6 times, I guess 4 or 5 times actually, and still didn't really know what I was doing in a wrestling ring. Like, still had no concept of what I was doing in there.
What amazing instinct.
But but I did have good instincts. I appreciate you saying that.
Like some of the best ever.
So I appreciate that, because I do think that's what won the day at the end of the day. And so when I teamed up with Kiddo Bambito, I started listening to him put his stuff together with the likes of Kane and like bigger guys, and hear his psychology. and the philosophy behind it and the reasoning, and it just made me think like, whoa, I've been doing this crap all wrong for a long time, and it was crazy how I reached success while doing it wrong. So yeah, I would say one I had a blast and I was successful. One I was successful and I learned how to wrestle. So that's the difference between the two, I think. Wow. Billy still sucks. I'm just kidding.
What was the difference between
incredible
working with...
athlete. I couldn't have asked for a better partner. Love Billy Gunn like he's my own brother to this day. So I was just ribbing Billy. Don't get hot.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, no, thank you for teaching me about wrestling.
I still go back and watch our tag matches. I do it quite often actually, because they were just. No matter who we work with. I mean, like I was telling you, like the Hardys, we got a couple matches with the Hardys on TV, and really like mainly like I felt like we were really good at TV matches.
Yeah.
You know. I like doing the house show stuff, but. It's two totally different things.
It is two totally different things, and we could actually have a whole show talking about that. But I do think the television matches, the speed of them are different, the pace, and we
the flow.
Look, you and I had really good timing, both of us separately. So when they put us as a team, we had Billy did too. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when we were talking about me and you. Really good timing and good ring presence and good ring placement, so we knew where to be and when to be there.
And the best entrance music
ever in the history
just about
of
like
entrance
Run
music.
DMC doing your entrance music.
That's pretty cool.
If you're someone from my generation, there's nothing cooler. Nothing cooler.
Cooler.
So what was the difference between teaming with Sean and working with him against as an opponent?
Oh, you just have to be wary of the spin kicks. Yeah. Like you just got to put your hands up, or you're gonna just eat some size 10.5 or whatever size you are. You're just you're gonna bleed from a facial orifice if you don't put your hands up. Like look, no, our timing was good together too, and I feel like we had good psychology and put our matches together well. So it was always fun to work.
We didn't have a whole lot of singles matches.
Against each other.
Yeah. As far as when we were in DX, we had that little thing. You know, I think it was SummerSlam or whatever.
Just that little thing.
Yeah. No, but
it was just SummerSlam.
No, but before that, when I was a 1, 2, 3 kid, you know, we had one in
'95,
which was excellent.
Yeah.
That was excellent.
And I was like a year and a half in the business.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
You'd been working like 12 years at that time, and I'm older than you. So go figure.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I really enjoyed the stuff with, Scott and I and you and Jeff.
Yeah. What, WrestleMania 11? Yeah.
Man, Jeff Jarrett could throw one hell of a drop kick. Yeah. I don't know why I just thought of that real quick out of nowhere, but holy shit, man.
I love Jeff too.
All right. Oh, I was like, okay. Okay, so now I also want to ask, sorry, I think
I'm going to do the rest of this podcast in this voice, in this cadence.
Okay, I like it.
Okay.
I'll do it in a British accent.
Hedberg.
Yeah, I'll do it in a British accent.
All right.
All right, go ahead, Lane.
Yeah, so last week you also talked about a little bit of the difference between working as a writer on SmackDown and then now working on NXT. So now I want to know, though, as a writer, was there anybody that you ever went to for, sort of advice or anything like that?
I mean, you know what? I didn't, and this is going to sound cocky and braggadocious, and I don't ever mean to come off that way, but like I know in my mind what is good and what is bad in sports entertainment, and I'll toe the line as much as I can. But I know that my way works because it's in my head, and I've either done it or seen it, and I know it works, and so I trusted my instincts and I went with them. Now, if you had an idea and told me the idea, I wouldn't know for a fact that your idea would work. But I believe you believe it, and if you told me your idea and it hit me, oh crap, that's a lot better than what I had. Immediately I would change it and we would go with your idea. But again, I don't know that your idea is going to work, so it's not when someone would come to me and say, hey, you should do it this way, I would go, yeah, I don't know. That's not the way I would do it. You know what I mean? Again, because I know that my idea will work, and I know it would be at least good television and good for the character direction. And the one thing I did take a lot of criticism, I guess, but was for long-term character consistency and stuff. Like I would make it good. I would make it good for that segment, for that show. And a lot of times I would get feedback like, hey, you know, the big picture, we're trying to build this guy. And okay, well, everybody will forget about that by that time. And we can build him back up. So I took a lot of criticism, but no, I didn't go to anybody for advice. I trusted my gut, and it got me as far as it got me. And so, yeah, no, I feel like I was doing well. I know the internet thought differently sometimes.
But you weren't on the writing team when you first got a job back.
No. I became lead writer of SmackDown when it went live. Yeah. And I don't remember what year that was, but
how did you even end up in?
So I was working. Yeah. So I was working on the writing team. Even shortly after I got there, they came to me and said, "Look, I think you could help here," and I think I did help there.
What did you bring to the table?
The wrestling experience, the experience, and also television wrestling experience. And see, I broke in, you broke in wrestling and working shows and stuff. Yeah. I kind of broke in WWF at the time, WWE now, but I kind of broke in on there. So that was like, I was doing jobs on WCW. It was still on TV. I never worked any house shows. I just worked on TV and did jobs and with my brothers. And then I got the job up there and it was right on TV. So I kind of learned when I broke in, it was more learning about the television aspect than it was about taking hip tosses and drop kicks. So I brought that side of it to the table where a guy could write me a good story arc, but I could then make it happen in the arena for that 8-minute segment, the execution of it all. And so I do believe and I think I still bring that value down here. I just haven't at NXT I haven't been used in that way yet. I think once we get down here and I get to know,
I think you have to show them how to use you, right?
Yeah, because I do think it's kind of there's definitely a job description and a billet that I will have, but it's also like, okay, where can we have this resource now? And again, it sounds braggadocious, and I don't mean it to come off that way, but we have this resource and we have this person who has this knowledge. Yeah. How can we best use him, and in what places can we use him, and do we use him in all places? Do we use him in specific places? And I think that as NXT grows, as my job grows, we will evolve just like the industry here. You know?
So, right before this, you had an in-ring session. That was like 10 people, 10, 12 guys.
Yeah,
out there,
I think it was 10 guys, yeah.
And first of all, I don't think that's the best use of your time here, but you did great at it.
Yeah.
It was great.
It's fun.
Yeah,
it is fun.
You made that session a different. It had a totally different feel than anybody else's.
For sure,
and it fun.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm going to sit up because I'm fat and I need to sit up. I'm going to pass gas and probably hear it on here.
Are you going to fart?
Oh God, no. I'm just kidding. No, but look, I think everyone likes that on brand. I think that it can be fun. I think you can have fun and put forth good product at the same time. I think we can train, we can learn, and we can have fun all at the same time. It was my philosophy when writing the show, too. The writer's room was a blast to be in, but we ended up having a great show to put on television at the end of the day. So I think I want to make it personal. I want to train these guys and make them my guys. Yeah. Like at the end of the thing, we go 1, 2, 3, dog pound. You know what I mean? Like that's what I call my class, the dog pound.
Bond,
and
right?
I want to have that bond because I want them to trust me. I want them to trust that I will never steer them wrong, and that I will teach them to the best of my ability, which is I wasn't the best one ever, but I did all right. You know what I mean? And so I just give them advice on the creative direction I think they should go. And again, creativity and creative in sports entertainment is not objective, it's subjective. So it's never a right or wrong. It's just my opinion, this old 50-year-old redneck's opinion that did pretty well for himself, even while he was on dope all the time.
Yeah.
So now, you mentioned...
Follow that, Denise.
Hey, real quick, Denise and Jeff, you would appreciate this. Like, so he takes just a a typical drill that you do in the ring, with a couple of forward rolls, and he adds two forward rolls, and then get shot in the stomach. and let me see how you get shot in the stomach and sell that. And it was great.
And all it is a drill where they do the forward rolls and they're breaking a sweat and they're working out, but then they're showing me facials and then they're showing me acting and selling. And
like that Caesar, right?
Yeah.
I thought he did it great.
I thought he did too. I think he looked like he really he could have been on a TV show. Yeah. And but look, that's half of what we do here, right? Is the selling. And you open up to the camera, which when I'm training, I'm the hard camera. Open up to me and show me the sell and show me how you're going to do it. How are you going to do it different than the last guy? Are you going to own it a little bit, make it your own? And so that
seems to be the thing that most people come through these doors have the biggest problem with, is that type of thing, right? He goes like their athleticism and their moves and their great spots they do in the ring is what got them here, right?
Yes, especially the guys who have made a name for themselves on the independent circuit. But look, I think also they have to create some individuality. They have to step out from the norm. They have to make a name for themselves here in front of me, in front of you. What are you going to do different? I know you've watched Dolph Ziggler on TV and you know how to do the moves, and a lot of 9 times out of 10 they want to do the thing they saw The Rock do, or they think they saw you do, or whatever. And it's like, okay, that's cool, but can you now make that thing that you're trying to emulate somebody? Can you make it your own a little bit? The leg wiggle that I used to do, I just stole from Jimmy Boogie Woogie Man Valiant, and my dad kind of
did that. He was holding on to the top rope.
And it's just nothing, but it's something. You know what I mean? And it was individual to me because nobody else was doing it. And I think we're going to do some promo classes here in a minute. And the biggest thing to me is, and I tell these people, like, fail at 100 miles an hour, fail big, go out on a limb. Don't be afraid to make a fool of yourself. That's endearing. Don't be afraid to act a fool. Too many people and too often everybody tries to be strong and everybody tries to be cool. Well, guess what? If everybody's like that, nobody's strong and nobody's cool. So so step outside the norm. Think outside the box. You know what I heard this morning? Denzel Washington giving like a commencement speech to a graduating class. You can probably go on there and find it. It's like 6-8 minutes long. Was so cool. And like I listened to that this morning, and then I came here in that mindset. Like he said some things that were great. It was great advice, and one of them was fail big, man. Don't be afraid to fail big, because at least you'll learn from that mistake, hopefully, and move forward. And you tried. Too often I'm too cool to do that. I work strong style. Okay, well, so does everybody else. Back of the line, jackass.
I was actually about to ask you that earlier, was if you were teaching promo class. And so now that I heard you kind of give an insight to this, it's really cool, because sometimes, that's one of the things that, a lot of people have said, like, oh yeah, like the wrestling's super great right now, but one of the things that's lacking is the promos. People need to do better promos, et cetera, et cetera. So how do you think that we can all sort of get on the same page with that eventually?
Well, I mean, look, I don't think it's a separate page. I think it becomes a trust issue with who can cut a good promo and who can't cut a good promo. And then it's about trusting who can and who can't. So do I have to script out the promo for the individual and then kind of be a stickler for sticking to the verbiage that was written? Or do I trust the guy to give him bullet points and the message that he needs to deliver, and then trust that he can go out there, make that verbiage his own, make that message his own, but still stay on story? So it's, it's very easy to go online and go, this sucks, that's great. There's so much more goes into this industry than anybody out there knows that isn't in the know. So it's very important to have that trust with an individual. Daniel Bryan, you can tell Daniel Bryan the message you want conveyed, and he can go out there and deliver that message. Yeah, and do it in his character. See, that's the big thing to me, is to you have to earn that trust, but to develop that relationship where you can trust your talent and trust, and you pick out which ones. Hopefully you can trust them all, but then it's easier to just give them bullet points and let them deliver it in their own individual voice. So the Road Dogg would not say something that way, but Daniel Bryan might say it that way. So Road Dogg writing it is not smart, because then I'm stepping on Daniel Bryan's character. I need to give him bullet points and let Daniel Bryan put that message together. However, the message is 2 + 2 = 4. Now, Daniel, you go out there and say that however you want to, you know what I mean? And he would be brilliant at it. But some people are not so brilliant at it, and so you got to script their promos for them. And that's, I don't know.
Isn't that something you have to do here in about 3 minutes?
Yeah, I do. I got a few minutes, because I feel like we're just getting rolling.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's people go, oh, you shouldn't write their promos for them. Well, then some of the talent should get better promo cutting skills. You know what I mean? Like grab a friggin' hairbrush and get in front of the mirror, kid. I don't know what to tell you. But if you're not trusted to be able to cut a promo, that's not leadership's fault. That's partially your own. So let's work together and see if we can't develop a relationship that revolves around some trust, and then we can let you cut your own promos.
So to say that everyone, just top to bottom, is given a scripted promo that they have to stick to is not necessarily the case?
That's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. Anywhere. Okay. Anywhere.
So do you think that some of the people that think that are just the ones that were always made to do it because they weren't good at promos?
Yes. I think they're the ones that perpetuate that nonsense. I totally do. And so, I mean, again, it's easy to throw rocks at the guy on top of the hill because he's on top of the hill. It's a much more difficult spot when you get up to the top of that hill yourself and then go, holy crap, how do I stay up here with all these people throwing rocks?
What else, Denise?
Do we have time for one more question?
Yes.
Yep. All right. My last question to you is, you were able to see Triple H go from being a wrestler, transitioning into such a bigger role, into now what he's been putting so much input and everything that he has done for NXT. I want to know how has that been, like, sort of seeing his career evolve, and then also with you and HBK having prominent roles in the company now. Did you guys ever think you would get there? I want to know a little bit about that.
Well, I never thought I'd be alive, to tell you the truth. So thank God that I am, first and foremost. But what was funny was, I'm going to tell a little story that you told. We left TV tapings the other day, and sorry, I just hit my microphone. Sorry. But so we were walking out of Full Sail University. We were walking to our cars, and Ciampa actually said, "Good night, DX." Yeah. We were like, "Night, John boy," and it was funny. It was cute, but whatever. So we're talking there, and Kid X-Pac says, "Damn, Brian." And I was like, "Yeah, we did it, man. 2 long days." And he was like, "No, not that. Man, we were really fucked up not long ago." Yeah. And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Man, you're right. We've come a long way, and we have, and that was real to me, and it touched my heart, and so thank you for that reality break at the moment." Right. But also, we went on to talk about Hunter a little bit, and he was always the one that was a little more firm-footed in reality, and he was always the one that was level-headed and had a good business sense about him. And so it's not surprising that he is where he is and that he's done what he's done. But I can tell another little story is when he went over to the UK and he did the press conference for the UK, and I sat in my hotel room, and I was on Twitter or something, and it said, "Oh, the press conference is about to start." And so I thought, oh, well, that's Hunter. He's my friend and my boss. I'll watch him do that. And when I watched that, I literally started crying in my hotel room. I was sober. I was thankful for him because look, him giving me another chance at this was another chance at life. Not only did they pay for me to go to rehab, but then after being sober a year, I was given another opportunity to come back and make a living for my family. And so that it means so much to me. I can't articulate it correctly, what he's done for me and my family and what he means to me as a friend / boss. But when I watched him do that, I saw the maturity in him, and I thought, you know what? I cut a good friggin' promo, but I can't do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Okay, and that's leadership. leadership and just maturity. And literally, I just started crying. I texted him right after that, and I said, "Dude," and I just cried watching you. You're such a great leader and a man. You know what I mean? As weird as that sounds, like it's awesome to work for him. You know what I mean? And to be blessed enough to be able to work with him.
I had a thought and I just lost it, and it was a good one too.
I bet it was.
Because I wanted to add to that.
Was this about the fight we got in after we ate at the diner, where I knew karate?
The fight with you and I?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I wasn't going to tell him.
Okay. Let's not.
There's just been so many of them.
Let's not tell him then.
Mia. Damn it. No, it was something important.
Hunter.
Yeah. Fuck, I hate when I do that.
Was it the text you
in real
sent
time
him?
for all of my listeners and viewers, they see me have these brain farts, and
we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot.
Yeah.
I keep hitting this microphone. It's kind of pissing me off.
Yeah. No, it was something to do with his fuck it.
Now it's gonna stay with you all day, Sean. It wasn't a text, because I remember one time you talked about a text. What, you texted him after the show? Was it anything about that? No.
No, just forget it.
No, okay.
It's just gonna get ridiculous. This me trying to fucking remember what it was.
I know. It might be fun. It might be fun.
It was really important too, man. That's the thing.
What it was? You were gonna tell me you love me?
I do love you.
Okay,
I love
thanks.
you very much.
I love you too.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, fucking fuck.
And that apparently wasn't it, guys. I thought I was gonna save us all.
All right.
I bet it was about you being proud of Hunter and proud of all of us, and you love us.
Yeah. Oh, I know what it was.
Here we go. Yes.
So I remember you telling me, when you first came back here for a job, and first of all, when everyone saw you when your dad was inducted, and you guys inducted your dad in the Hall of Fame, that you were doing good.
Yeah.
But is it okay if
yeah, you tell everything. I'm an open book.
Vince was like, "Why do you want to bring him back?"
Yes, yeah, totally.
And he had to convince him, right?
He tried 3 times. He said, "Why would you bring a known drug addict back to work here as an employee?" And he said, because he's been sober for over 9 years. Vince said no. So he said no 2 times, and the 3rd time, Vince said, "It's on you, Paul. Yeah. This is on you. I think it's ill-advised, but it's on you. Make the decision." And he gave him the opportunity to make that executive decision. And then later, Vince and I spoke, and again, this sounds like I'm just put over Road Dogg Day from Road Dogg himself. What a jackass. But Vince was like, I couldn't believe he was going to hire you, and now I wish I had 10 of you. You know what I mean? And that made me feel good. Like, I was like, holy crap. If it was 10 of me, I could get all this stuff done.
And Brian, I thank you, and I think a lot of other, people struggling with those issues. Thank you for, making everyone realize that you can take a chance on someone.
Yeah. Look, this company has always been about second chances.
They're bringing me back around.
Yeah. It's always been about second chances. Where they see good people and good talent, they're always willing to give it. Even if they're not good people, but the businesses would be good, they will bring people back. They will give people second chances. So that's kind of what I hate about all the anti-establishment talk all the time. It's like, look, you think what you want, but man, they saved my life, so I'm going to think what I want to. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, they spent a lot of money trying to.
I love you.
I love you too.
I wanted to. That got weird. It got weird.
No, but before there was even a wellness policy. I remember my first rehab. Vince paid for it, and then Hunter and Vince paid for my second one.
Yeah. Yeah, and they still do that. They still have a wellness policy.
And I shit on the help they gave.
Yeah.
Me. I reached out for the help, and then I shit all over it because I wasn't ready for it.
Well, you weren't ready yet. That's the whole thing, man.
I mean, you spent a lot of money on. Anyways, I don't want to get off. I want to beat myself up.
No, don't, because 2 places you cannot live, in the past or in the future. Today is what we have, and if you're waiting for some other day to be happy, I don't know what the flip you're waiting on.
All right. Did you guys have to go, or are we out of time?
I just went in my pants.
Did you? He actually did do that one time.
Well, Sean, at least it didn't happen while
I did a lot
on a
of things when I
podcast.
was drinking and drugging that I'm not proud of.
But Sean, at least it didn't happen.
On the airplane.
Oh my God. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was just gonna bring up a story about Sean and when you were doing, was it the podcast with Nick Hausman? Who was it with where you didn't know you were being seen?
So I was doing the podcast. I don't know if you know Nick Hausman. Anyways, I was doing a podcast with somebody, right?
Yeah.
And it was on Skype, and because I wasn't in the studio, so I had my laptop, right?
Yeah.
And we were just using audio, so I didn't think the camera was on, and I had the headset on, and I didn't want to take a break. We were live.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to kayfabe take a piss, right? And so I'm pissing, and there's the camera, and so he's got a nice close-up of me pissing in a cup. It was, and so like, then like I get a text from him, and he's going, "What the fuck is the matter with you?" Like he thought I was doing it on purpose.
What was the sponsor? Viagra.
It was so great.
All right.
Because I mean, if I knew I could have got that reaction, I would have done it on purpose.
I would have done that a long time ago.
Yes.
Oh my God,
shit.
that is an awesome story.
Yeah, I got to leave it at that. Actually, it's all downhill from here.
It's like my entrance. Once the bell rings, it's all downhill.
All right. Hey, so how about, is that enough for a show?
Yeah. Do you guys want to do social media handles before you go?
Yeah. Okay. You can do it. Do it for me.
All right, guys. So don't forget, if you guys want to check us out more on Twitter and Instagram, we are at Xpac123 Show, Twitter and Instagram. And you can follow Sean at The Real X-Pac as well, and Road Dogg at WWE Road Dogg as well. So don't forget to check us out. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Thank you, Denise.
Yep, thank you, Denise.
Nice job.
So much better show than last week.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, thanks, everyone.
Yep, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jeff at AfterBuzz.
You got it, guys. Hey, great show, y'all.
That's my life. Hey, that's what the story of my life, AfterBuzz.
Is that Roxy?
It's a perfect way to go out. That might be rocks in the back. All right, we're getting out of here, guys. Bye.
All right, thank you, guys.
Yep.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Sean Waltman, and the entire Xpac 12360 staff, thank you for tuning in to Xpac 12360.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.